Hey everyone, this is Devin and Shira from Less Screens, More Summits. This week we're going to be talking about hiking boots, but not just any hiking boots, kids' hiking boots.
You can definitely start off hiking and going on trails with your kids using regular sneakers. But once you decide to get more serious and more adventurous, we definitely recommend using actual hiking boots, trail type boots for your children. Here's 5 tips on picking out trail shoes, hiking boots for your children. Okay, number one, comfort. If your kids are uncomfortable in their shoes, just forget the hike. They're going to be complaining and complaining for miles and miles, and you're just going to feel guilty as a parent. So, definitely pick out some comfortable shoes for your kids. Go to the store, have your kids try on the boots, put both of the shoes on, and have them run around. Comfort is definitely a number one in this case because they're supposed to be out there enjoying the outdoors and nature and not focusing on how much their feet hurt.
Number two is going to be which boot to pick. Are you going to pick a low, a mid, or a high? So here we have, so one of our kids, we start off when they're young, which we actually recommend is a low. So they're really good for little kids. They're just like their regular tennis shoes or sneakers, something they're used to. The next is you've got a mid. So these mids, our kids kind of moved over into the mid. So it's a little bit more ankle support. Within their boot. And then we have one of our kids, he likes to roll his ankles all the time. Like not roll his ankles, but he likes to tip over. And so we went with the high with him. And since we went with the high with him, he's had no more issues with rolling his ankles and falling out on the trail.
Number three is looking at the type of grip that the shoes have. So, are you going to be walking on paved, well maintained, flat trails, or are you going to be on something steep or slippery? Slippery can mean sand, slippery can mean water. So, you want to think of the grip of the sole when you're looking at these shoes as well. What kind of terrain you're planning on walking on.
And with the grip, I think that's been one of the big reasons that sold us on hiking boots instead of shoes. So like hiking some of the rocks out in like Moab or Zion or even at Garden of the Gods, there's been parts where I think if the kids didn't have the really good grip on their shoes, they might have slipped and fell on some of these rocks. All right, number four, we're going to talk about waterproof or ventilation. So I'm going to show you two examples. So this shoe is waterproof. This one is not. So we were hiking out Zion National Park. We were crossing over a bunch of creeks and everything. So the kids that hiked with these waterproof, their feet stayed dry the entire time. These non-waterproof shoes caused a lot of problems. He was miserable. We actually were unprepared and didn't bring an extra pair of dry socks. But ultimately it comes down to do you want dry feet or not dry feet? But with that said, is a lot of the waterproof, even though technology has gotten absolutely great over the years, waterproof tends to be hotter too. So if you have kids that feet sweat a lot and you're not crossing a lot of water, you might actually make their feet wet by just ultimately giving them waterproof shoes or waterproof boots because their feet are sweating.
So you definitely want to think about what season it is, where you're going to be hiking. Is it going to be super hot? Do you want ventilation? In that case, you might not need waterproof because your feet are just, and your shoes are just going to dry up real quick. Or is it going to be cold? Are you going to be hiking in the snow? Is it going to be fall? Do you want your kids' feet to be warm?
Number five is going to be socks. So pairing the right socks with the hiking boots. Our last bit of hiking boots we bought, I decided to go out and buy some like really nice wool hiking socks for them to use. They were too hot for the kids. So getting those right socks, we ended up getting some like thinner pairs for them, stuff that was way more comfortable, and trying out different socks on shorter trails that they were able to try out, see which ones works for them. And that really helped us. And once again, going back to number one, comfort is with the socks. If they're uncomfortable with the socks, not just uncomfortable with the boots, then they're not enjoying nature. They're focused on other things. They're focused on their feet, not just the beautiful views and everything else they're getting to experience.
Yep. And kids are picky, so bring them along. Try to get them involved in picking out their hiking shoes or boots. And most importantly, don't forget to break them in. So before you go on the trails, have the kids out, maybe even going to school in the shoes, walking around the neighborhood, that kind of thing.
Yeah, no, yeah, and that's good because hiking shoes and hiking boots are not like running shoes where you can put them on right away and go run. Some of these more
Some of them are more stiff than others.
yeah, the more stiff ones definitely require a break-in period.
Mhm.
So we recommend that, and also it gets the kids more involved in the mindset that they're hiking. So other than that, yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video and like and subscribe, and we'll be offering you more tips on hiking with the kids later.